We're going live here in just a few seconds. This is Tech Day Live number 410, show 410. Lots of cool products to show you today. I'm excited to be here. Starting a couple minutes late due to Seattle traffic, but can't do much about that. Had a very busy week. Had a great last couple of weeks. You guys haven't seen me in a couple of weeks. Been on vacation. I've been down to Portland. We just got back from Cabo. Had all sorts of fun in there. I did bring a couple test products, I'll be honest, when I went down to Cabo. I'm looking in the chat here just to see if everything's working out the way it should. That's how it goes. Everything's looking good so far. If you can hear me and the sound is okay, sound levels are okay, give me a quick thumbs up in the chat. That will let me know that everything's working right. I got to go back here and make sure that the Amazon people can see us. So I have to click a couple buttons. If everything works out, I get something on this screen real quick. Maybe not. That's just how it works, but we'll take a look at that here in just a second. That's on. That has visibility. So there we go. We're good to go. We can start streaming on this one. I can go ahead and get the stream going here. Coalition Chris, thanks, man, for checking in. Another great creator. If you haven't checked out Coalition Gaming and Coalition Chris there, thanks for checking in, man. I've got a ton of really cool products today, but I got to get the Amazon going because that's the trickiest part of all. So we're going to go live in 3, 2, 1 on Amazon. Welcome, Amazon shoppers. It's John, the Net Guy, with the Net Guy Reviews. I check out home, tool, and tech products. Today, you're getting a little preview. You're seeing what I've got up here already. You know we're talking lithium batteries today. That's what we're going to kick off the show with here. Someone's wanting to send me a collaboration opportunity on Kick. I tell you, that's the only people I get in there is spammers on the Kick platform. Let me turn the monitor off, back off of here, just so that it's not in our way. And we will get started. The first thing I like to do is say welcome to everyone on Amazon. Amazonians, I think we decided it was. And then I go ahead and mark the first product in the carousel. So Amazon, if you're watching on there, has a carousel with all the cool products on it. The first one that's kicking us off is actually this battery. It's a 100 amp hour capacity battery from the DC Power Company. Now, I have lots of cameras here. I'm going to bring you up nice and close. So we're going to show you how all this stuff connects. That name is short for DC Power. They have a long name on Amazon, but the company reached out to me. They make a ton of really cool lithium battery products. This is the hottest thing right now if you're upgrading your RV this year. I've got a ton of RV products to show you tonight, but I wanted to kick it off with this one because a lithium upgrade is going to do miles for your RV. And I'm going to talk about it in the context of this 100 amp hour capacity battery. As I was running here to get the show, I actually made a list for you because I didn't want to miss anything about all of the reasons why you might want to consider upgrading to lithium. So I got a top 5 list for you here. I'm going to have my editor do something cool like right here. So why don't I sit right here, and the editor is going to do something cool later right here. First on this is the weight savings. So this from DC Power is a 21-pound battery. I can with 2 fingers lift it up. Try to do that with a deep cycle battery. This thing is light. Now, if you're a traditional RVer and you've got a couple Group 24 deep cycles, those are about 60 pounds each. This is 21 and a half pounds. I tested it at 21 pounds, 7 ounces. So just right in there, about 21 and a half pounds. Top terminal. So it's got the terminal lugs here on top is how you attach it. The weight savings, though, it's up to a third of the weight of an existing battery. So that's the number one thing you get here is weight savings in this package. A number 2 on my list is going to be the energy density. This thing is dense, and dense, I mean good. You get a full 100 amp hours, as you see on the label over here. That's a capacity measurement at 12 volts. So there's 1,280 watt hours in this battery right here. How does that compare to your traditional lead acid, AGM, and other batteries? A battery this size from an AGM is going to have about 65 amp hours. And you're like, okay, 65 versus 100, is that worth the difference in cost? Well, that deep cycle can only go down to about 20% or so, and that's pushing it. before you have to charge it back up. If you go further than that, you risk damaging your battery. So that's a really dangerous thing. If you damage your battery, the next time it's not going to charge up quite as much, and that deep cycle is just going to keep deteriorating. So that's another really interesting thing. I'm taking a look real quick here. We got another YouTuber in the channel. We got a tad bit late because I got to eat my chicken soup my grandma made. Oh, don't get me hungry, man. It's dinner time over here. I raced right on to the show. And Randy J is friend of the show, checking in on the YouTube side. You made it. Is that a clap emoji? Thanks, man. I did make it. So other interesting things about this is a Group 31 battery. So the neat thing about this is they've basically been designing these batteries around the older standards. So if you look at this battery right here fits in a Group 31 box. Now you can get them in Group 34, or sorry, Group 24 sizes and larger ones depending on the capacity needs here. So you can see from this side how it looks. So pretty decent. It does have a carrying handle. So you got a lot of flexibility in form factor, but one of the things I just did with this battery that you wouldn't do with a flooded battery is I just set it on its side. You can set it on its edge. You can do all that stuff. So these lithium iron phosphate batteries can actually be mounted in different positions. So check the manual to make sure there's a couple models that can only be mounted certain ways. But in most cases, you have a lot more mounting flexibility because there's nothing to spill out of these batteries. They're completely sealed. That's another thing about them is they're much safer batteries. So these batteries, the lithium iron phosphate, Coalition Chris was checking in. That's the LiFePO batteries. You'll see that LiFePO4. That's lithium iron phosphate. You guys remember science class, FE203? Come on now. That's rust. That's spinning hard drives. But the iron phosphate chemistry in this makes it a much safer battery, and it's actually recyclable. That's another really cool thing about this is you can recycle a lot of the components in this battery, which are much safer than some of the battery acids and toxic components in the other ones. So that's an important thing. We talk about safety. You've seen a lot of things about lithium ion batteries running away and thermally blowing up and doing crazy stuff. These lithium iron phosphates are much, much safer, and they have an included battery management system, or a BMS, installed. So if you were to short the terminals out, that's going to be an overcurrent protection. It's going to shut it off. If you were to overcharge it, maybe something went crazy and you got 200 amps of charge coming into it, it's going to shut it off. So the battery management system is going to protect the cells inside the battery. Back in the day, building a lithium battery was a big process. All the nerds were doing it. They were getting cells and topic charging them and trying to balance them and find the right ones. The BMS does all that for you. So it's managing the charging and the safety of the battery in here. The last thing on this one, and DJ DC Power has done an amazing job on this, is the cost and the longevity of this one. So I'm going to look here. I just want to get this right because they're all slightly different. And I'm going to bring you guys down on the top-down camera here. We're going to look right down here on the label. I'm going to try to read this off for you. 4,000 plus deep cycle count and 100 amp hour maximum continuous discharge current. So what does that kind of stuff mean? Well, that means that you can cycle this 4,000 times. So if you took this battery down to zero every single day, you're looking at 10 years of battery cycle life on here, 4,000 days that you could do that and still maintain 80% state of charge, which is really cool. It comes with a 5-year warranty on here. And the service life is mentioned up here is 10 years. The low voltage cutoff on that BMS, so it doesn't damage the cells, is 10 volts. And the standard charge current and the standard discharge is around 20 amps. So that's what you're going to want to remember. If you're hooking this up to a charger, you want to have, like in my case, I got a 5 amp charger. You could use a 10 amp charger, or you could use up to a 20. That's what they recommend for continuous charge current. So that's a 0.2 C, so 0.2 of the total amount. So that's a few reasons why you may want to consider lithium. I'm going to go through the reasons where lithium may not work for you. But again, they've addressed a lot of these already in this one. So cost versus a lead acid. Let's go take a look at Amazon. I'm going to go over here real quick. I see somebody saying that I made the YouTube shorts already with this content. I made a few YouTube Shorts content, and I'm gaming subs more, which is awesome. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Sounds like you're doing great over there. Take a look at Jonathan Talks Hardware, by the way, if you haven't yet. A great creator as well. So a couple reasons why you might not consider a lithium, you might want to stick with lead acid or sealed lead acid, is cost. But they've actually addressed this in this one. It's on sale right now. Now, I'm not allowed to put this in the video, in the final video, but I wanted to show you. If you go to that URL below or you click the link in the video description, full disclosure, I get a very small single-digit commission off of this, but I'll show you what you're going to see when you go there. You're going to see me, and you're going to see this Show 410. So if I go to Show 410, this is going to show you all the products that we're going to see today, and you can go over here and see this DJ-DC power, and you're going to notice, one, they make a ton of batteries. So they have all different form factors. They've got batteries that'll work in your lawn tractors. They got solar project batteries. They've got a mini version. So this battery is much bigger than it actually needs to be from the cells inside. So if you're looking for ultra lightweight, ultra small, you can go with the mini, or you can go with the one that I've got right in front of me here, which is the 100 amp hour. That's kind of the standard for a lot of battery systems. And it's available at 10% off right now. It's $170.99. This is the lowest price 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery I've seen on Amazon today. So you're looking at the low price leader right now on this one, a value leader. It's got 4.5 stars on 145 ratings. They're a very new company listing out here. So you know, they're going to be getting those ratings up, I'm sure, but 4.5 is a great place to start. And I have tested this thing out with a 100 amp load. We're going to bring it back over here, though, and I'm going to go ahead and hook this up here and show you how to do that. Let me grab a quick tool. So you want to be careful with these lithium batteries that you make a really good connection. That's important for any power system. And I'm going to go ahead and, in my situation, I'm going to connect the grounds first, and then we're going to go from there. You've seen this wall before. If you've been watching the show, this is my lithium test wall. I will run this battery through all of my standard tests here. I was just thinking about this. I'm going to have to unhook this thing before we go to our next product. So I will run this through all of our battery, no pun intended, of tests to make sure that it's putting out. Now, I've already run the high current test, so it's able to handle the 102 amp draw that I put on it. And I'll try the longevity test, and we're going to make sure this thing has full power here. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I have not turned the power system on yet, which is why you're not seeing any of the lights of the system turn on. So we're going to come over here. I'm going to go ahead and turn this switch on. And by doing that, we see our battery monitor comes up right here. And it's showing that this thing is at 13.54 volts. Let me bring our handy dandy GoPro in. So there you go. So it's at 13.53 volts right now. Now I haven't turned the inverters on or anything else, and I have not plugged the charger in on this, nor have I set my GoPro up properly. Hold on while I do this. I was just bringing this guy back. I did a lot of footage over the weekend here. So that's what you're looking at. And as we increase load, as we turn on the inverter, as we start to do everything else, you'll see that there's going to be an amp draw on this. Now this has up to a 100 amp hour draw we talked about, and that's pretty standard on this. So that's a 1C draw. So it's going to be 1 times the continuous amperage of this that's available. And then from there, you can charge it back up. I'm going to go ahead and plug the charger in here. So you can see the charger comes on. That's one thing that you may want to consider when you're doing a lithium system here. So there's my no-code charger. It's fully automatic. It's going to come onto the lithium mode, and it's going to start charging it. And what you're going to notice on the GoPro, our voltage is starting to jump back up, and it's actually going to be adding. It's at 1 amp right now because the battery's really topped off. I topped this off before the show. So that's from DJ DC Power. I'm going to take a look at the chat real quick and see if there's any questions here. DJ Green Protagonist comes in. Like a computer, we like to see a good post. Yes, we turned the switch on. Everything came on. I can turn the inverter on up here. If I have it, do I have to? Might have to manually turn it on the first time on this guy. So just taking a look here, making sure I didn't disable any connections. This would actually be a really good power system here. There we go. Inverter's on. I am going to do a follow-up show on this about solar, which will be really cool. and you're going to get to see how this inverter can actually charge the battery. So let's go back to the list. Cost versus lead acid. I mentioned that this thing is a low cost leader right now, 100 amp hours for $171. That's the cheapest I've seen out there. Availability, that's another problem. So these are available from Amazon. They can ship to you right now. They'll be in here in about the next week or so. Because of their size, they don't ship by air, so you got to be a little careful about that. They don't like to ship lithium, especially the super high capacity, via air. So that will arrive to you in about a week usually. There is a lower maximum current. So if you were thinking, oh, I want to replace my car battery with one of these, there's two problems with that. If you were to put this in as a starting battery on a big pickup like my diesel truck, it's going to have a maximum of 100 amp discharge, continuous discharge. So as you're cranking it over, that might be needing 300 or 400 amps. So there's still a place in the world for lead acid in automotive and elsewhere, but this would be a great house battery for a RV, travel trailer, or boat, which is coming up. So it does have a lower maximum discharge rate. There is one thing about this one is I did not see a low temperature cutoff. So if you're somebody that RV camps in below freezing temperatures continuously and needs to charge back up. Now you can turn your charger off once you get to, 32 or below, or you think you're going to do that, and you can just run the battery as it is. But you're going to be looking for a low temp cutoff. I didn't see that on this one. And or you're going to be looking for a self-heating battery, which they have out now, which will heat themselves up to not cause damage. But with lithium iron phosphate, it can be damaged by charging at below freezing. Now you can use it below freezing all day long, and it still continuously works below freezing, but I did not see a low temperature cutoff. So that's one of the things to protect your investment there. And then lastly, there is a complexity to this. So I'm going to be showing you how to do a solar system, how to do an upgrade, try to do the easiest way possible. But there is going to be a complexity. These are about 1 volt higher than most lead acid batteries. So the way that you actually see how full they are varies. You're going to have to use a monitoring system such as this one I have here. I also have it located in the chat. This is from Juan Von, one of my favorites right now. And or your alternator might have to be different, and you might need a DC to DC fast charger or charger if you have one of these batteries in your vehicle. So instead of going directly from an alternator, these batteries have incredibly low internal resistance, which means they want to take charge, and they will pull all of the energy out of your alternator that can give it. And your headlights might dim and other things might happen. So they make a DC to DC charger, which limits the current and is a safety feature for these. But that might be some other stuff. So there's some complexity. So those are a few reasons why you might want to consider lead acid, but this battery here from DJ DC Power has addressed many of those. So taking a look real quick, I don't see any other comments in the chat, which means it's a great time to switch to our next product. And I'm going to go ahead and shut this guy down. Looks like it's doing great. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and go through all of the tests here in the future. I'm going to see if I can do this without breaking anything, including myself. Okay, the inverter is complaining for a little bit, and I'm going to try to lift both of these down at once. This is where fails happen, so wish me good vibes here as I set this massive thing down so we can get ready for our next product. I didn't want to have to unplug these at the same time, but I got a lot of really cool products to show today. So I'm going to go ahead and set this guy down. The heaviest part, believe it or not, of this whole system is the wood. So I'm going to set that down over here. And I will address that later. And then we're going to pull the next product up on the show. So here we go. And I'm just going to go ahead and select it here on the Amazon carousel. I do have a couple extra products in the Amazon carousel tonight. If you're interested in taking a look on using that battery with your RV, you may need a different charge converter or charger converter. And I have one of those listed in here. So that's another great option to think about. And if you want to look at that Juan Von battery monitor, I've done a video on it before. I marked that in the carousel as well for you. So just giving you a couple of those items. I do have a really cool product coming up here. And my wife, she can attest to this one. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up for you. And this was a company that actually sent out a product a couple weeks ago. These are these zebra blinds. Now, they sent a different model slightly, and I installed those. My wife loved them so much. She says, we need one for the kitchen. So guess what? I put these in the kitchen. I'm going to walk you through it right now. We'll talk through it. And these are some custom fit curtains, zebra curtains for your kitchen. Now, the way that you do this is actually pretty simple. You need to measure in 3 places vertically and 3 places horizontally. That's going to give you the dimension. If you visit the link below, try to find the one that is below your measurements horizontally and vertically. They'll ship it directly to you, and it comes safely packaged here. This is a single unit, as I showed you last week. They can send you double units as well. So you can do that. Well, I'm going to go ahead and open it up here. All of the hardware that you need to mount this thing is built in. Now you can mount it a couple different ways. You can mount it inside the window mount. So we have these pretty chunky moldings around our window, and we have lots of room in our vinyl windows. Some people don't. So sometimes you actually have to mount it on the outside. So depending on your wall, maybe you have an RV and you want to have zebra curtains in it, you can do that. All of the hardware here, be real careful cutting it free, is on the one end. And there are a couple extra pieces of tape here. One of the things, we get a lot of light from that window, and sometimes when I'm filming or doing other stuff in the kitchen, I want to be able to have some shade. This is a light filtering zebra shade, which is pretty cool. Now, it does have detailed instructions. You can follow those, or you can just follow along with this video, and I'll show you how to install this from scratch. There is a handle that you're going to want to keep along with all of the hardware to put this in. First thing, go ahead and dry fit it. Make sure it's going to fit. Kind of notice where the hardware is going to land. Don't worry about getting the hardware too close to the edges. I kind of made that mistake the first time because I was used to these. So I put it right on the edge. I actually had to come back and move them in a tiny little bit. So go ahead and mark these in about 1 inch on either side. I went ahead and marked in 3 places. So on the 2 edges and the center here, you'll see. And then you're going to need a couple other things. You're going to need a drill bit and a drill. And that's all you'll need with a bit driver. So you can put it in. Now, selecting the appropriate bit size, what I like to do is hold the drill bit up. And if you can see threads still on both sides, that's the right size bit. In my case, it was a 3/32, so just under 1/8. And I go ahead and drill these out. And right about the time I'm going to put these back in, my drill died. So I grabbed another drill, a cheaper one that I had, and it works. So go ahead and attach your fasteners right there. There's only 1 screw needed on the inside mount if you're doing it that way. And then this is where the drill dies. So you'll see I grabbed my orange drill. I used a little Black & Decker here and attach the 3 components here. So as Jonathan Talks Hardware says, it would be a nice addition for my new apartment. Yes, these would, man. Let me know what you got for window sizes. We'll see if we can do a housewarming present for you. To install, very easily, just push on the front and let them latch through the back. Couldn't be any easier. You push them through and now they're ready to go. So you can pull down to test the curtain. So you just reach from the back side, and as you pull down, you can have it either closed off or you can let some light through so you can block visibility. This is when it's all the way down, completely blocking. And you can go ahead and attach the handle. It just snaps right on the front. And the neat thing about it is the handle faces forward, so you can completely close out the light. Really a big fan. They dress up. You'll see here at the end, they dress our kitchen up very nicely. So when we have people over, we don't have the backyard. We've got some ugly sheds and things back there. So we can kind of hide those out, and it fits beautifully in here. And that is available right now. This is a indoor zebra curtain. This is their newest model of zebra curtain. So I'll take a quick look at the Amazon page and I'll show you how you get there. So if you're just following me and you go along there and click the link in the description, you're going to see this page. These are from Boulagon. This is the cordless zebra blinds. So these are just to pull down. Now I have a bunch of different sizes in here, but if you come down here and you just pick, those are all the different size range. So take those 3 measurements, go with the smallest and go with the one that's undersized. So if you got 33.5 wide, let's say, go with 33. So go with a unit that's smaller of the smallest measurement. And the same thing for the height. And the height is actually important because these things are calibrated to your window height. You can pick any one of those. And one of the things I love about these guys is they have a variety of colors and styles in here. So you can see a bunch of different styles. We've got light filtering black, we've got beige, we've got a blue gray in here as well, brown, and gray and white. So you got a whole bunch of different color choices, and they all come at different prices. There is a 10% off coupon, it appears right now. So I want to thank Boulagon for sending those out for a fair and honest review. Very happy with them. They're working great. And my wife couldn't be more excited. And happy wife, happy life, right? So I want to just check in with you guys here on the chat, make sure everything's looking good, and it is. We're going to go on to our next product right away. Let me get that here. And this is one that I'm super excited about. I have shown you one of these before. I can't wait to use this. I'm actually going to be going to our boat this weekend, and this thing's coming with, and I'll tell you why. We go out and do salmon fishing, we do crabbing, we do all sorts of aquatic sports, and we got to bring food to the boat. We got to bring food back from the boat. We also have our RV, and you're always carrying food back and forth. It's about an hour and a half drive up to our boat, up to 2 to 3 hours on a busy weekend. And so we have to fill a cooler. We got to put ice in it and do all the stuff. This is from Bodega. This is actually a really cool product. I'm trying not to drop it because it's big. This is the Bodega 60 liter. So 60 liters, about 15 gallons of capacity that this thing has. So an enormous capacity in here. And at at 60 liters, that's about 2 cubic foot of refrigerator space. Now, this one is very unique, and you're not going to see this until I bring you either to the top down, but I actually think the GoPro is going to give you a better view here. So here we're going to the GoPro. Take a look at that. This is one of the things this has. It has 2 chambers. So if I reach down in here, I can grab the AC power cord. So that's the AC power. It also can have DC power. So this will work in the back of your SUV, back of your pickup truck. It has 2 sides, and it has an app control. This side is the freezer side. This side is going to be your fridge side. But guess what? This divider comes out. This is the only one I know of this capacity that can become a continuous freezer or fridge of that size. So I'm going to bring you guys back over here. We're going to try a couple different ways to show off the insides of this because it is pretty cool. It also has app control. So maybe this thing's sitting in the very back, so you can't reach the buttons on it. And so maybe you need to do that. I'll show you the app that we have for it. So again, from Bodega, this is the Bodega. I'm just looking at my camera, which I just hit here. I want to make sure I can see the buttons here. So this is the grate that it has, that you can fit all your frozen stuff, and then you can pull it all out at once. So you can load and unload this really easy. I actually froze this water solid. I put it in earlier and I completely froze it. That's one of the things when you go camping and you have a regular cooler, you can't freeze ice cream. So if you want to take ice cream camping, by the time you go have it later in the evening, maybe you're having some ice cream with your s'mores, it's usually thawed and it's usually no good. And you have to eat it on the first day. This thing can actually not only keep it cold, it can actually get it colder. And I'll show you how that works. So if I remove these 2 pieces here, and this is enough room for many, many 6-packs, a whole bunch of sandwiches or food or fish, which is what we're going to be doing some catching. But again, this one is the only one in the market, and I'm going to try to pull it forward to show you, that has a removable dual chamber design. So you pull this out. It does have a drain in the bottom. So if you do get some extra water in here, the drain will work. Another interesting thing about this unit and why it's so special, this unit may weigh a little bit, but it does have wheels to offset that on the backside there. But it actually doesn't weigh anymore because you don't add any ice to it. So that's the neat thing about these coolers. You get some of these very large coolers and you need 2 people. They're getting really heavy. This one, they thought ahead. The weight of the compressor that it has here is offset by the fact that you don't have to add any more ice to it. Now you can set both sides, like I said, to be a freezer or fridge, depending on how you need it to do this. This is the normal freezer side. That's the normal fridge side. I'm going to go ahead and plug this into the wall, and then we'll talk about the different power options, which are really cool on this. So I'm going to go ahead and get this plugged in. We'll get it online, and we'll get to play around with it a little bit. So it started up here. I'm going to show you real quick on the overhead view if it'll play nice with me. There it is. Trying to see if you can see that upside down. I'll flip it over here in a second. But this is saying that the chamber over here on the left, that one's at 33 degrees on this side. So it's a little above freezing. This side over here is at 40. Now, if I close the lid and I turn it down, you can see I can set it as low as like -4 degrees. So -4 is the low for the freezer side, but I like to set it around 5 or 6. Then on the fridge side, I can go down here and I can set the fridge down as well. Now, if I'm going to use this as a continuous area, so fridge goes down as low as 14, I hold these two buttons and it actually puts it in a combined mode where it's actually using both sides. So then I can hold those buttons again, and this puts it back in. Now, you'll notice it says max right there. There's a bunch of different things, and you can do them all from this control panel, which isn't a bad way to do it. But this is the first one I've seen that's actually simplified the whole process. They have an app called QZ Smart. That's the name of the app. And already it's showing me that it's online. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in so you guys can see it directly on the show today. And this is the Bodega T60. So 60 liter. Now they actually have other bodegas here. They actually do have a 36 liter and other sizes. So you don't have to go with the huge one here. But I'm going to go ahead and open it up and you're going to see all the controls that you have in here. So right now it's telling me that the left side temperature is at 20. The right side temperature is at 5. There's 14.3 volts. Its mode is on maximum cooling right now, so it's going to go as quickly as it can to cool this down. So this might be when you're getting ready to load food in it. We've used the other cooler that we have that's slightly smaller than this. We load up the food, we get it ready, we throw it in the SUV, and we take it either camping with us or wherever we're going to go. I'm going to show you can hit the edit button up here, and you can change all of the settings on it. It is integrated with Alexa, so you can have her do some controls on that. So that's pretty cool. This is the 60 liter unit, but I can again run this left side down to 14. I can take the right side all the way down to 4. And maybe you don't need it that cool. Maybe you're just trying to chill some things. So we can say, hey, set them both to 50. So it'll do that. Now, if it's at a higher temperature, the compressor just kicked off. And unlike some of the other coolers, some people might be going, well, I can get a cheaper, 6-pack refrigerator or whatever. A lot of those use Peltier coolers. So those are just a circuit that's designed with a heat sink, and it can heat like you're cooling heated seats in a car. They never get really cold. This has a legitimate compressor in it, just like your fridge at home, and it's able to use the coolant to get this thing to the very, very low freezing temperatures. So that's pretty cool. This is from Bodega. Now they're going to send me a few other ones. This is the first of many that they're going to send out. And so I'm going to be reviewing those over the summer. But if you're looking for something with enormous capacity, it does have handles on both sides. So you can, again, take this with you. It has rolling wheels. This is a fantastic product. I installed it and set it up a couple days ago. I threw some things in there. As I said, there's the frozen water. I put a half a cup here of water and it completely froze it. It does have a couple other cool things. So this is the full user's manual. So some people like to see that. So it does have a full manual here. It tells you everything about it, all the parts, care and use instructions. Another thing to think about, and I had somebody message me about this the other day, these are camping items. These are for use going back and forth to trailers. You could use this, as one of my friends said, hey, you should wire this to a DC port in the back of the boat, and we can keep a ton of fish when we're out camping. And guess what? It comes with a DC plug right there. So you plug this into your cigarette lighter, front or rear of the vehicle, mid of the vehicle, and you plug this side in, and it's ready to go. So that was something very exciting. But remember, these are accessory appliances. So they're not going to be continuous use for like 15, 20 years, but they are going to give you a couple great years of service out of continuous use and or intermittent service for many years. So just like your Coleman camp stoves, I did see some people that are like, well, I want to use this as my primary fridge forever. I don't recommend that. These, again, are a camping item, but the utility that they provide and the fact that you're completely ice-free really frees you. I don't know, the last few 4th of Julys that we've gone out, nobody's got ice anymore. All the ice is gone. With this, you plug this into your SUV, you plug it into your household outlet, and you're good to go. Let me talk about a couple safety features that it has. So one of the worst things that could happen with one of these types of coolers is you could run the battery too low. That you have here. So I'm just playing around with some of the settings. So you could run the battery potentially too low. The way that it protects against that, you see that little max value there? That max value, if I hit this and hold it down, you can actually change it to different numbers. So maximum cooling is what that is. But this other number that you see here, this HML, that's high, medium, and low battery protection. So it has battery protection that's going to protect your car battery from being discharged too greatly. So you don't want this to discharge your car battery and then you don't have a way to go anywhere when you need to leave. So this actually protects it. It'll shut the cooler off, wait till you started the car, and it starts itself back up. So that's another interesting thing to think about here. It does have an included USB port, which I've never seen before on one of these. So that was really cool. This model specifically has an extra USB. So maybe the kids want to plug their tablet or iPhone in to charge. You can do that while it's plugged into another power source so it doesn't take that up. And then lastly, you want to change it from the maximum mode. So there's max. You can hit it again and go to eco mode. Now, eco is going to use less power. I believe this thing uses somewhere around 30 to 50 watts, but I'll check that and we'll test it out in a future video. But I want to thank Bodega for sending this thing out. What a great idea. If you're looking for something, maybe it's a nice gift for somebody that camps a lot. I'm going to use this in our RV. I can't wait to plug it in. But again, that is from the Bodega company. And this is the largest one they make. Let me show you real quick on Amazon that you can see some of the other ones that they have. So this is their upgraded cooler for 2024, and it includes an app, wide range of voltages here. So 12 to 24 volts DC. Some systems are 24 volts in certain boats and other, interesting things. So it'll do 24, 100 to 240 volts. So it's international available. This one is 60 liter, 64 quart. They have a 36 liter here available. They also have a 50 liter, but it's a single zone. So you only have one choice. You got to either be freezing or fridging. But this dual zone is one of the most unique ones I've seen, and I'm very excited about that. So again, thanks to Bodega for sending this out for a fair and honest review. I can't wait to do some more product testing, air quotes, on this one over the summer, and it's going to get a lot of food and fish back and forth from the RV and the boat. I'm going to set this one down. I'll take a look in the chat for some questions, and we're going to pull up the next product because it is a busy day around here. Looking over there. Oh, these are some of my favorite new products. I can't wait to show you some of these ones. That was from Bodega. We're going to go on to the next one from Kibsta. Now, this is an interesting product here. Let me pull it up. I want to put it up in a couple areas. I got to close that out, close this out. Taking a look real quick at the chat. Haven't missed anybody. Awesome. So the very next product is one that's hard to bring into the studio here because it's for your RV. I teased a little bit out on my socials earlier. So if you guys are watching in your socials, you'll know all about this. But this is a leveling system for your RV. Now, I just used this the other day when I got back. I made a quick little video on how I do it. I'm going to narrate as we go, just like the last one. So this is a leveling system that beats the heck out of those orange blocks. So this is my old blocks. So you pull in, you pass the blocks one way, you pass the blocks the other. There's like no positive control. And if you want to adjust slightly, maybe I need to go up a little bit, you have to take it all the way off and add blocks. These are your grandpa's way of doing this. These blocks are not adjustable. They don't work really well. They get dirty, all sorts of issues. There's a better way now. This is from Kibsta, and this is their 4-inch leveling blocks. Now, this is the whole kit right here. Fits in a really small compact bag, and it's going to give you up to 4 inches of lift. Now, they have 2 rubber pads that you put down. That's going to keep it from slipping out. It's going to make it safe, and you can put this on any surface that you want, concrete or otherwise. Super easy to install. You just put the blocks in behind each wheel. You can put them in the front too if you want to pull forward and do the same. It's the same process, and all you do is back up. So to raise it up and level it out, you just back up onto these. So that's one of the lowest levels. You'd put the chalk in here. You'd let the car roll forward slightly to engage the chalk, and you've now leveled your RV that quickly. The difference here is if this is not enough leveling, you can adjust it up without having to take things in or out. Now watch this. If you just back up further, now I've gone up to about 3.5, 4 inches. I put the chocks in further, tapping those in, let the weight off, and it adjusts to the height. Another one here is it can actually adjust the other way down very easily. Just pull these forward. Maybe you got it too far and just roll forward. I was looking at these trying to figure out how to use them, and I'm like, if this is that easy, it's going to be amazing. Now, how do you take them out? Take the weight off by backing up just a hair. So take the weight off of those chocks. You take the safety chocks out. You let this thing roll forward, and make sure you get a little bit further. I was being real generous, so I didn't go too far forward. I had to go a little bit further to get the rubber pad out there. But you just pull the pads out. You pull the blocks out. You put it all the way back into the easy carrying case. I am throwing out. If anybody needs some orange leveling blocks, I'm throwing my old orange blocks out. They're no good for me anymore. I switched over completely to this. These are available right now on Amazon for just $37. They're on sale right now, so super excited to show you these. That's the RV leveling ramps from Kibsta. Now I'm going to go back over here and show you where you can get those. If you're following me on Amazon, they're in the carousel here, and if you're logged in with Prime, they're available for cheaper. So they were $37 here, $37.79 on the show iPhone here that I'm looking at. So if you're logged in with Prime, they might have an additional discount. They're showing $41.99. Their value either way, they're 40% off of their $70 value. They have up to a 35,000 pound RV capacity. Now, if you've got an RV that big, you're probably going to need to buy two sets because you've got triple axles. Again, these work in a forward or a rear motion. So if you want to pull forward onto them, they'll work for your tow vehicle, they'll work for your camper. Maybe you've got a van, maybe you're doing the van life thing. Well, guess what? Vans usually don't have leveling systems. This is your leveling system for your camper vans. So if you're doing something like that, carry these. They take up a very small amount of room. Want to thank Kibsta for sending these out for a fair and honest review. Great new product. Super excited for this one. This is going to revolutionize the argument that I usually have with my wife when we pull into some place. I'm like, no, add a block in there. And, oh, you're in the way. I can't see you. I can't back up. And this is going to make things so much easier. I'm very excited about this. There's another product coming up here that's also RV related, which I need to pull up. And this was a product that I purchased myself just out of necessity. And that is actually from Flame King. Now, I don't know about you, but those ugly propane tanks on the front of an RV, well, I've got them too. And I'll show you, this is a cover that replaces your factory cover if it's old or worn or faded out. Mine, it lost the top cover hatch, and that alone was about half the price of this one. So this is from Flame King. I'm going to bring this up here just like the other one because I installed this outside. Jonathan Talks Hardware says, my dad's birthday is after my birthday. You maybe hit my dad up for his birthday. That would be a great gift for your dad. I know, Jonathan, your dad RVs quite a bit. So that would be really cool. I'm going to show you this from Flame King. This is a cover that you build yourself. So they ship it to you in two pieces. You build it yourself, but it has some really neat engineering on top of the existing Camco or standard one you might have. So I'm going to narrate through this just like the other ones. This is the cover on my RV. It goes over two 20-pound propane tanks. And there you go. That's the installation process, all done. So what can you do once you have this thing installed? Well, they have twist off hatch access covers. They don't fall off. You don't have to forget to install them that way. So you engage them and you turn and they're done. You can access both of your shutoff valves. So that's important. It also protects your voltage, your propane regulator and your switch. So I can still access mine behind the jack here, and I can switch between tanks using that valve selector, which is pretty cool. There's also another one on the backside because these are universal. So if your selector's on the back or you want to access port, you can access it through the back. So that's a really cool system. Again, that was from Flame King. I'm actually going to show you how you put it together because it's not that hard, but I wanted to give you guys that option here. So I'm going to show you the assembly of it. I did a quick montage for you there. So it's going to come in a very large Amazon box. But this one here, again, only $35. Let me check the current price, $35.62. You can upgrade the look of your RV by covering those ugly tanks. It's very lightweight, so it's not going to add a lot. Now, those are two unique clamshells that fit together. They're identical, but they ship inside of each other. They've really figured out the system here because they can ship it in very small packaging and weight compared to the other ones. And it comes with all the screws you need and those 4 universal hatch covers. And all I did is I go around the outside here and I attach a few of them, and I used a drill and just a pair of pliers. That's all you need to install this. I went through and I started just putting them in loosely, and then I'll go back through and tighten them all up. But I wanted to show you how quick and easy these things were to install. If you want to set this up and then throw it on your RV, it is going to upgrade the look. I love this compared to my old weathered Camco one that was missing the lid forever. So I kind of looked a little lazy when I was going places because it was looking like it was missing something. But that's it. That's all you got to do to set these up. You throw, I think that there's 3 on each side, 4 on the top. So you're going to have 10 screws, and I just go through the last minute here and tighten them all up. and you're going to upgrade the look of that. Like I said, they're just twist on and off. Now, if you have a single system, you're going to need a different one. This is only for duals, but you go ahead and turn those in, and you just turn them 90 degrees and they lock in, and those don't go anywhere. So this is going to provide that protection you need. Also, one thing, they do recommend putting a I'm not thinking straight zip tie. They want you to put some sort of elastic cord or tie down in between those two tabs. The one thing I would say that's negative on this one, those tabs look pretty weak. So I haven't had to use tabs. It fits tight enough on mine that it's not going anywhere, but they would recommend that you use some sort of tie down in between those tabs. So another interesting thing to think about. That was from Flame King. Now we're going through all of the RV products tonight. I have one more RV product that I want to show you right now, and then I've got another one that we're going to kick over to next week, and that is a sewer hose extension. Now, what kind of tech is that? Well, I have not had one forever in my RV, and I actually went on a trip a couple weeks ago, and it required, so some of these RV parks, the newer ones, are getting smart. They're requiring these sewer line holders, and the reason is, if you have an old leaky sewer hose and it's just running along the ground, there's a chance that there's going to be a spill. And you know what kind of stuff we're spilling here. So this one is from Beach Lane. They did not send this out, but Beach Lane, oh, actually, no, sorry. Beach Lane did send this one out for a fair and honest review, I believe. I want to double check that in the notes. But so this Beach Lane one is the easiest way that you can add sewer hose support and make sure you have clean and easy flow. And I installed it and used it in my RV. I'll show you real quick how I do that. Again, just it's held down together with a tie, and you go ahead and pull this all out. You add your sewer hose to it after you've got it laid out on the ground, the path that you want it to follow. It's going to hold on to that, and it's going to keep it, as you see, at a nice angle so that you get good flow and you don't get any clogs, because nobody wants to deal with that when you're out RVing. And that will go to wherever you need to run your drain. So in this case, I just showed you how it works, and that's how it drains out of your RV. Mine just happens to be in the back of our RV, which is always inconvenient because they put the utilities kind of in the middle sometimes it's all the way in the front. This allows you to have that continuous flow. And if you don't get any kinks in your RV, you don't have to worry about pressure and leaks and all that. It's kind of nice. So that's available right now. Let's go take a look here on the Amazon. If you're following along with the show tonight, that's available down here. It is the most affordable on Amazon. It's coming in at $29.99 right now. 673 ratings, giving it a 4.5 star. So they got some good pictures here, similar to mine. But you can see there. Now, they do have two types here. I'll tell you, when I put this thing out the first time, I extended it fully and it fell over. So they have, depending upon the levelness of your yard or RV location, they have some feet that you can get to attach to the bottom of it. This is the addition with the feet. And you can put these in here to even it out on uneven ground, and it keeps it from tipping over. So that's one thing to think about. It's $5 more if you want that. It's $29.99 for the non-feeded version. So if you want just the regular one, and this is going to make your RV life this summer more enjoyable. Well, I want to thank all the brands again that checked in tonight. I want to thank all the viewers like you. I still see there's a handful of you out there watching this. So I want to thank all of you guys for tuning in. That is the products for the show today. There is a couple other I put in that I did not get a chance to film. One of them is a leveling scissor socket. So if you've got scissor jacks on your RV like I do, and you carry a drill with you, save yourself some time when you're setting up and tearing down, and you can use this thing. I'll throw that on a future show so you guys can see how well that works. But that's also in the carousel. If you do want to pick up any of the items that you've seen on the show tonight, I do get a single-digit commission. So in all honesty, and many of the products that were sent to me here were also sent for a fair and honest review. So I get to keep those products, just giving you a full FTC disclosure there. And if you haven't already, give me a follow on Amazon at the shop below. And again, if you want to see any of the products, maybe you tuned in late, that's fine. Go ahead and visit my Amazon show page. I'm going to show you that right here. And if you come down, you'll see all these other product reviews that I've done. I got a lot of new videos that I just uploaded. If you hit show 410, that's my idea list. You'll see all of the cool products that I showed tonight, including a couple that we didn't really drill into because I've had them on the show before, like that battery meter right here from Wanvon, which is a great deal. This thing, if you don't have a scissor jack adapter, this comes with two pieces and they're magnetic, so they're going to stick on a lot easier. And those are available for $7.99. So that's great. And like I said, if you do want to switch up to a lithium battery and you have an RV and you want to use a newer converter, this is the converter that I'm using for mine, but just make sure it fits with yours. I'm going to do a future video here soon about solar upgrading, because that's what's coming up for our RV. And I want to thank all you guys that are tuning in tonight. I'm going to see anyone on here. Vince on Amazon says, have I seen that RV somewhere before? Yeah, I think it followed us for like 4 hours on the way back. Thanks for checking in, Vince. Good to see you guys. And I'm going to end the stream on Amazon. Thank you guys on Amazon that did tune in. I see quite a bit of you guys tuned in on Amazon. And if you're not following me on any of the other socials, I'd encourage you to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, follow me wherever you get your social media. And I will catch you guys all in the very next one. Thanks a lot. See you guys next week.